Consider a body that is starting from rest and moving with constant acceleration. The distances covered after first second and third second are in the ratio 1 is to 4 is to 9. And the distances covered in the first, second and third second are in the ratio 1 is to 3 is to 5. Make clear what are the words being used. It is covered after and the ratio is 1 is to 4 is to 9, and the distances covered in the first, second and third second are 1 is to 3 is to 5. The next is about vectors. These are the physical quantities that possesses both magnitude and direction. But it is a must condition that vectors are those which obey the laws of vector addition. You can't simply add the vectors just like numbers. They will be added by the vector addition laws, and those are, for composition of two vectors, we may use either triangle law of vector addition or parallelogram law of vector addition. In case if the vectors are more than two vectors, then polygon law of vector addition is to be used. If we resolve a vector into its rectangular components, then we can write down sum of this component is along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So it have been split up into those, and it can be written as ax is the x component of vector A with I cap showing the direction, plus ay j cap, az k cap. And if magnitude is to be found out of the vector, then it is equal to under root of ax square plus ay square plus az square. The 25th point about this is the dot product of two vectors is always a scalar quantity, and the condition for perpendicularity of two vectors is that the dot product should be 0. And in the case of cross product, the product is always a vector quantity, and if the cross product of two vectors is 0, it means they are parallel. So this is the property of parallel, cross product 0. Property of dot product, the vectors are perpendicular if dot product is 0. Collinear vectors are those which are acting either along the same line or they are lying along the parallel lines. Next is the unit vector. It is a vector having magnitude 1. It is used to denote the direction of a given vector. Vector A, it is constituting magnitude and the direction. So this can be written A magnitude into A cap, that is giving us the direction. And this, the magnitude is 1. So A cap is equal to A vector by its magnitude. So we are left with direction, that is A cap. I, j and k constitute the orthogonal triad of unit vectors. Orthogonal triad means a pair of perpendicular vectors. So I, j, k are the mutually perpendicular vectors. Co-initial vectors, whose initial point are same. Co means same and the initial starting point is same. Coterminous, the vectors that are commonly terminating on a single point. When a vector is added to its negative vector, we get 0. This is called null vector. That is A vector, the negative of the vector, and we will get 0, null vector. A vector which gives position of a point with reference to the origin of coordinate system is called position vector. We have taken any point, say A. Now this point, if taken in the coordinate and O is the origin of this, then the vector R is said to be the position vector. The next is a vector which gives position of point with reference to a point other than origin of the coordinate system. O is the origin of the coordinate system, and we have to mention the position with other than origin. So let B be another point, and the R2 is the position vector for B, and let this distance between B and A is delta R. So this is given by R2 minus R. So delta R is giving the position of point A and B, but that is not including the point of origin. So R is called the displacement vector. The next is if two vectors are equal in magnitude and direction, they are called equal vectors. Next is if two vectors P and Q, they are inclined at an angle theta, then the magnitude of resultant R is given by P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of angle between them, that is theta. If beta is the angle between the resultant and one of the vectors, say P, then tangent beta is given by the formula Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. In case if this beta angle is between R and Q, then the values of P and Q will be interchanged in the formula. When two vectors act in the same direction, then the magnitude of resultant vector is equal to the sum of the magnitudes of the given vectors, and direction of resultant vector is same as the direction of the given vector. What does it mean? Let P and Q are in, these are the vectors, are in same direction. Same direction means angle between them is 0. Then resultant R is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos 0 degree. So this thing will come out P square plus Q square plus 2PQ or P plus Q whole square under the root, or this thing is equal to P plus Q. So what we found out, the resultant is equal to the sum of the vectors as it have been mentioned in this property, and the direction of R will be same as the direction in which either of these vectors are acting. When the two vectors of equal magnitude act at right angles to each other, then the magnitude of resultant is equal to root 2 times magnitude of either vector. Also the resultant acts midway between the vectors. It means this thing, if suppose P and P equal vectors acting at 90 degree perpendicular, then resultant is P square plus 2P square cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So this thing comes out to be equal to P square plus P square under the root, or root 2 P. This is what it have been mentioned. It is root 2 times magnitude of either vector, and the resultant vector for this will be at 45 degree, that is the midway. The next is the properties of vector addition. It is commutative. Commutative is related to the order. It means A plus B is equal to B plus A. The next is associative. Associative is regarding the grouping of vectors. It means A vector plus B plus C vector in the bracket. This thing is equal to A vector plus B vector plus C vector. It is distributive. Distributive property means multiplication of a scalar quantity with the vector addition. Let A and B are the two vectors and lambda is a scalar quantity, then we can write it down like this. It will be getting multiplied and we get lambda A plus lambda. Polar vectors, or another name is true vectors. These vectors are associated with the linear or the directional effect. For example, linear velocity, linear momentum. So these are the true or the polar vectors. The next is axial vectors, pseudo vectors, or rotational vectors. Here they are related with the linear. These are associated with the rotation about the axis, and the examples are angular velocity, angular momentum. These are its example for the axial, pseudo or rotational. Either of the name can be given to the vectors. The next is about the important properties of dot product. Dot product is commutative. A dot B is equal to B dot A. Dot product of vectors is 0 if they are perpendicular. Dot product is distributive. A dot B plus C can be written as A dot B plus A dot C. The dot product in terms of rectangular components, this thing have been resolved in the directions. Suppose A and B are resolved in the rectangular components, then ax plus ax bx plus ay by plus az bz, these are the rectangular components of the dot product of A and B. Another important properties of the cross product. Cross product A cross B is not equal to B cross A. It is not following the commutative law as the dot product is having. Actually, A cross B is equal to the negative of B cross A. So this is the fact. The magnitude of cross product of two perpendicular vectors is equal to the product of the magnitude of these vectors. If two vectors are represented both in magnitude as well as direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the cross product is equal to the magnitude of the area of the parallelogram. If two vectors are represented by the two sides of a triangle, then half of the magnitude of the cross product will give area of triangle. In this case, we have mentioned that the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the area of that parallelogram. For triangle, we have to take half of the cross product for the area of a triangle. When we resolve it in the rectangular components, A cross B can be given by this relation. For solving this matrices, we will get the A cross B, that is equal to AY BZ minus AZ BY minus J cap AX BZ minus BX AZ plus K cap AX BY minus BX AY. A body which is in flight through the atmosphere but it is not being propelled by any fuel is called projectile. The path that is followed by the projectile is known as trajectory. The horizontal and vertical motion of this projectile only, they are independent of each other. Horizontal and vertical components are splitted and they are not depending on one another. This is called principle of physical independence of the motion. The horizontal motion of a projectile is uniform motion, while the vertical motion of the projectile is accelerated motion. And this accelerated motion is controlled by the force of gravity. When a projectile is thrown at an angle of 45°, it is going to cover the maximum horizontal range. Maximum horizontal range is at 45° angle of thrown. There are two angles of projection, theta and 90° minus theta, with the horizontal, for which the horizontal range is going to remain the same. Now the next point is about the equation of the trajectory for oblique projectile. This is given by y is equal to x tan theta minus g divided by 2u square cos square theta x square. The time of flight of an oblique projectile is given by, this is given by capital T is equal to 2u sin theta by g. Time of ascent of oblique projectile is equal to the time of descent of the projectile, and half of this time period is equal to the time of ascent, and that is equal to the time of descent, that is equal to u sin theta by g. Maximum height or vertical range of oblique projectile is given by u square sin square theta upon 2g. The horizontal range of oblique projectile is u square sine 2 theta by g. Now, if the projectile is fired from inclined plane, let alpha is the angle of inclination with the horizontal. Then for upward inclined plane, the time of flight is given by 2u sine theta minus alpha upon g cos alpha. And for the downward inclined plane, this minus is replaced by the plus alpha, rest everything will remain the same. Maximum range is given by u square g 1 plus sine alpha for the upward inclined plane, and for the downward this minus sign will come here. And the maximum height of the projectile from inclined plane is given by u square sine square theta minus alpha by 2g cos alpha. Now we are talking about the motion in a plane that is circular in nature. So uniform circular motion. Any object is said to be in a circular motion if it is moving with the constant speed along a circular path, but continuously the direction is changing. The displacement in this type of motion is uh, angular. Angle swept by the radius in a given time, it is measured in radians. Angular velocity, that is denoted by omega. This is the rate of change of angular displacement, and this is equal to d theta by dt for a small variation in the angle. And the unit of the angular velocity is radian per second. Angular acceleration denoted by alpha, it is the rate of change of angular velocity, and the unit is radian per second square. Next is the centripetal force. It is the force that is acting towards the center that keeps the object in a circular motion. So that type of force is having centripetal acceleration. Acceleration is also towards the center of the circle. Another important term is tangential velocity. Tangential velocity is the linear part of the velocity, linear velocity of the object moving in circular path. Then the time period, it is the time taken to complete one full revolution. And the frequency is the number of revolutions per second. Frequency nu is equal to 1 upon t. There is relation between some of the linear and the angular quantities. Linear velocity v, this is equal to r the radius into the angular velocity. Tangential acceleration at is equal to radius into angular acceleration. Centripetal acceleration, this is denoted by AC. This is equal to v square by r. V is the linear velocity, r is the radius, or it is also equal to r omega square, that is the angular velocity. Centripetal force is given by Fc, this is equal to mv square by r, or it is mr omega square. It is important to note this thing that in uniform circular motion, we will talk about speed, velocity and acceleration. Speed remains constant. Velocity changes. Its magnitude remain constant, but its direction changes. Velocity change is only because of the change in direction. And about acceleration, the direction of acceleration acts along the radius of path towards the center, and it changes continuously, but its magnitude remains constant. So magnitude, either we are talking about speed, about velocity or acceleration, it is going to remain the same, but the direction is keep on changing at every point in case of velocity as well as in acceleration, and that is the change of direction in acceleration is always along the radius of the path and towards the center of the circle. There is some additional information regarding this unit. The first one is the tensor. Tensor is basically a physical quantity that is neither vector nor scalar. Actually, it is not having any specified direction. It have different values in different directions, and the examples are moment of inertia and stress are the tensor. The second one is there are three vectors A, B and C that are represented in order and magnitude and direction by the sides of a triangle taken in the same order. Then A upon PQ is equal to B by QS is equal to C by SP. And this is the exterior angle alpha, beta and gamma. So A upon its opposite exterior angle is alpha. A upon sine alpha is equal to B by sine beta is equal to C by sine gamma. So this is the Lami's theorem. We are taking the topic relative motion in one dimension. For this, the question number 1 is, a bus is moving with a speed of 10 meter per second on a straight road. A scooterist wishes to overtake the bus in 100 seconds. If the bus is at a distance of 1 kilometer from the scooterist, with what speed should the scooterist chase the bus? And these 4 options are given for the same. This question is on page number 51 of old NCERT, and this has come in All India PMT 2009. Now, to solve this question, see what are the things being given to us. There is a scooterist denoted by S, and he wants to overtake the bus. So this is the bus. The overtaking he want to do in 100 seconds if the bus is at a distance of 1 kilometer. The distance between the scooterist and the bus is 1 kilometer. From the scooterist, with what speed should the scooterist should chase the bus? And one more thing is given, a bus is moving with a speed of 10 meter per second. So this is moving with 10 meter per second. Now when we look at the basic concepts, there we have learned the relative velocity, let it be v. This is equal to the difference of the two velocities when they are moving in the same direction. So this is Vs minus Vb, where Vs is the velocity of scooterist and Vb is that of the velocity of bus. From here we can see, we know about the velocity of bus. This is what we want to find out. And what about the relative velocity? Since the distance between the two of them is 1 kilometer, so relative distance between two of them is 1 kilometer, and the time that is to be taken to complete this 1 kilometer is 100 seconds. So we can get the relative velocity. So relative velocity is equal to displacement upon time, and this displacement here is 1 kilometer. So it is 1000 meter, and the time to complete that is 100 seconds. So the value comes out 10 meter per second. Now we know the relative velocity, that is v. We know about Vb, so Vs can be calculated. So Vs is equal to V plus Vb, and Vs is equal to 10 plus 10, that is 20 meter per second. Now let us see the options. So option A, that is 20 meter per second, is the correct one, and the answer for the first is option A. In 20 meter per second, the scooterist will chase the bus. This is the second question. A train of length 150 meter is going towards north direction with a speed of 10 meter per second. A parrot flies at a speed of 5 meter per second towards south direction. So you can see train and parrot, they are in opposite direction, parallel to the railway track. The time taken by the parrot to cross the train is, and the options are being given. This question is there in the page 51 NCERT old, and this has come in All India PMT in year 1992. So to solve this question, we will be taking help of the relative velocity, and then we are going to find out how much time the parrot will take to cross that train. The formula that we will be taking, Va is the relative velocity, Vp velocity of parrot, and Vt is the velocity of train. So here the relative velocity is equal to the velocity of parrot minus velocity of the train. So this velocity of the parrot is 5 meter per second, and by convention we take the direction towards north as positive and opposite direction towards south is taken as negative. So parrot is moving with 5 meter per second in opposite direction, south direction. So I have taken it -5, and minus sign from the formula, and velocity of train is given to us 10 meter per second. So minus 10. So the value comes out minus 15 meter per second. This is the relative velocity that has come. Now the time taken by the parrot to cross the train. To cross the train, he has to cover the length of the train. So here the distance will be the length of the train. So time taken by parrot to cross train will be displacement over relative velocity, that is, the length of the train is 150, relative velocity is minus 15 meter per second. If we take the magnitude, because time we need the magnitude only, so this comes out 10 seconds. So the answer for the second, let us see the option 10 second, it is the D. So answer for the second is the D option, 10 seconds. Now we are taking the topic relative velocity in 2 dimensions. In this, the first question is, the speed of a swimmer in the still water is 20 meter per second. The speed of river water is 10 meter per second and is flowing due east. If he is standing on south bank and wishes to cross the river along the shortest path, then the angle at which he should make his strokes with respect to north is, and the angles have been given to us. This question has come in the NEET National 2019, and this is on the page number 76 of old NCERT. In this 2 dimension, this is the style of the question that have been asked, either the shortest distance between the banks of the river, or like this, the at what angle he should make the strokes to reach through the shortest path. So first thing in this is to assign the directions. So this is the north, this is south, this is the east direction, and the west one. The speed of the swimmer in still water. So let Vs be the speed of swimmer, and in still water, add this thing also, in still water, and this value is given to us 20 meter per second. The speed of river water, let Vr is the speed of river water, and this is 10 meter per second, flowing due east, flowing in east direction. So let us make the diagram for this. This is the river flow in the east direction, and the swimmer is standing on the south bank. So this direction is south, and somewhere how this is the position. S is the position of swimmer. Now, uh, if he wishes to cross the river along the shortest path, at this position, if he is standing, the shortest path is this one. Then the angle at which he should make his strokes with respect to the north is. So this is the north direction, and at south he is standing over here. Now understand this thing, that here the river water is there, and river water is moving with the 10 meter the river water is moving with the 10 meter per second, and the swimmer is moving with 20 meter per second. So when the two things are in contact and the other thing is also moving, that speed is added up here. इस चीज को ऐसे समझें कि स्विमर जो है, स्टिल वाटर, जब पानी नहीं चल रहा, रिवर नहीं बह रही है, पानी स्टेशनरी है, उस टाइम पे 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड है, क्योंकि स्विमर रिवर के कांटेक्ट में है. रिवर अगर फ्लो कर रही है तो उसकी जो वेलोसिटी है उसकी वजह से भी, रिवर की स्पीड की वजह से भी स्विमर जो है उसके अंदर मूवमेंट आएगी. अगर वाटर स्टिल होता तो इस ये शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस होता और वो यहाँ पर 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड के साथ मूव करता और यहाँ पर वो पहुंच जाता. लेकिन क्योंकि रिवर फ्लो कर रही है, तो अगर वो 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड जो कि उसकी स्टिल वाटर में स्पीड है उसके साथ जाएगा, तो वो ईस्ट डायरेक्शन में रिवर के साथ फ्लो होगा, बजाय इस पोजीशन पे आने के, शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस पर जाने के. ही विल रीच एट सम अदर पोजीशन. तो यहाँ पर पहुंचने के लिए मूविंग वाटर में उसको कुछ एंगल वेस्ट की तरफ जाना होगा. दिस इज द साउथ, दिस इज द ईस्ट एंड दिस इज द नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन. तो उसको साउथ से नॉर्थ में किस डायरेक्शन में मूव करना पड़ेगा? वेस्ट डायरेक्शन में, बिकॉज दिस इज द वेस्ट डायरेक्शन. तो कुछ एंगल थीटा पे उसको वेस्ट डायरेक्शन में आना पड़ेगा, ताकि जब वो रिवर के फ्लो के साथ जाए, जब वो कुछ एंगल पे यहाँ जाएगा तो वो वापस इस पोजीशन पर आ जाए जो कि उसके डिजायर्ड पोजीशन है. सो दिस इज हाउ ही हैज टू डू. तो यहाँ पर हम लोग इसको अगर स्टिल वाटर में होता तो v डैश इसकी वेलोसिटी लेते हैं, क्योंकि ये फ्लो कर रहा है मूविंग वाटर में, तो यहाँ पर हमारे पास उसको मूव करना है और इसको हम लोग ले रहे हैं v. फ्रॉम दिस right angle triangle we will have vs plus vr is equal to v. This is according to the triangle law of vector addition, and this is the perpendicular and opposite the angle is theta. So sine theta is equal to vr over vs. Now vr, the velocity of the river is 10 and that of the swimmer is 20. So this is 1 by 2, that is sine 30 degree. So the angle is 30 degree, and with respect to the north, it is 30 degree towards the west. So 30 degree with respect to the north, it has to move in the west direction. So option D is the correct option, and the answer for the first is D. Now the second question of the relative velocity in two dimensions is, the speed of the boat is 5 km per hour in still water. It crosses a river of width 1 km along the shortest possible path in 15 minutes. The velocity of the river water in kilometer per hour is 5, 1, 3 or 4? This question has come in All India PMT 1998. So to solve the question, we will consider this is the direction of the river flow with velocity Vr, and the speed of the boat is 5 kilometer in still water, and it crosses a river of width 1 kilometer. So this width of river is 1 kilometer, and the boat is along the shortest possible path, covers it in 15 minutes. So let here from here the boat is covering it through the shortest possible path. So shortest possible path, again, it is, let it be, this point is A, this point is B, and this point is C. So shortest possible path is along AB, but river water is there, so boat uh, uh, is moving with whatever speed. The river speed will be added up. So to reach at point B, it has to shift by some angle, say theta, towards the west side to reach at the desired position B. पोजीशन जो है सपोज करें बोट की ए पर है, और इसका जो शॉर्टेस्ट पॉसिबल पाथ है ए बी है, अगर हमारी रिवर फ्लो नहीं कर रही है, क्योंकि रिवर फ्लो कर रही है तो उसकी भी एडिशनल वेलोसिटी एडअप होगी, तो बोट को थोड़ा वेस्ट डायरेक्शन में मूव करना पड़ेगा ताकि वो रिवर के साथ वेलोसिटी के साथ आके बी डिजायर्ड पोजीशन पर शॉर्टेस्ट पॉसिबल पाथ पर पहुंच सके। तो जो बोट है वो इस डायरेक्शन में मूव करेगी, और ये डायरेक्शन हमारी रिवर फ्लो की है, और ये हमारा शॉर्टेस्ट पॉसिबल पाथ है। तो यहाँ पर हमसे पूछा है कि रिवर की कितनी वेलोसिटी है। यहाँ पर वी बी हम बोट की वेलोसिटी ले रहे हैं। लेट वी एस बी द वेलोसिटी फॉर द shortest path from A to B. Now, according to the given conditions, Vs is equal to width of river over time taken, and the width of river is 1 kilometer and time taken is 15 minutes. We have to convert in hour to get it in kilometer per hour. So 15 minutes is equal to 1 by 4 hour. Time 15 minutes, 15 by 60 is equal to 1 by 4. So it is equal to Vs, or 4 . Now to calculate Vs, we will take help of this right angle triangle. This is hypotenuse, this is perpendicular. So this thing is equal to 1 upon Vb square minus Vr square. We have 1 by 4 Vb. It is the velocity of the boat with which it is moving, and that is 5 kilometer per hour. So this is 5 square minus Vr square. Vr is the velocity of the river that is to be calculated, and we get 1 by 4 is equal to under root 25 minus Vr square. Squaring both sides, 1 by 16 is equal to 1 by 25 minus Vr square, or Vr is equal to 25, Vr square is equal to 25 minus 16, that is 9, and from here we calculate Vr. Under root of 9, this is 3. So the value of the velocity of the river water in kilometer comes out 3 kilometer per hour, and for that the option number is C. Hence the answer for the Second is option C, that is 3 km per hour. The next topic is about the vectors. And in the first question, if the magnitude of sum of two vectors is equal to the magnitude of difference of these two vectors, the angle between them is, and four options are being given. This question has come in NEET 2016 and All India PMT 1991. This is on the page number 34 of NCERT new. So let us find out the answer for the first. Let A and B be the two vectors. So the magnitude of sum is equal to the magnitude of the difference. Now let theta is the angle between them. Then squaring both sides, we have a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta, and this comes out 4ab cos theta equal to 0. And from here, since a and b, they are not equal to 0, it means cos theta is equal to 0, and the value of theta is 90 degree. So option A is the correct answer for this, and the answer for the first is option A. Now look at the second question. If a vector 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 8k cap is perpendicular to the vector 4j cap minus 4i cap plus alpha cap, then find out the value of alpha. Options are being here, and this question has come in All India PMT in 2005. Now if you remember the concepts, there we have seen one of the property of the dot product of vectors. If the dot product of two vectors is 0, it means they are perpendicular to one another, and we are going to apply the same here. So for the question number 2, we'll write down, we know dot product of perpendicular vectors is 0. Since they are perpendicular, so dot product need to be 0. 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 8k cap dot. Now we will rearrange. Here j is being given before. I have taken 4i cap plus 4j cap plus alpha cap. It should be equal to 0. Now 2i dot I will be 1, I dot j will be 0, I dot k will be 0. So it is minus 8 plus 3 into 4, 12. Similarly, 8 alpha is equal to 0. So alpha comes out minus 4 by 8, that is minus 1 by 2. So the correct option is C, minus 1 by 2, and the answer for the second is option number C, minus 1 by 2. Now the next topic is motion in a plane and projectile motion. In that, the first question is, a bullet is fired from a gun at the speed of 280 meter per second in the direction 30 degree above the horizontal. The maximum height attained by the bullet is, and standard values g equal to 9.8 meter per second square and sine 30 degree equal to 0.5 is being given, and the options are here. This question has come in NEET 2023, and this is on page number 39 of NCERT new one. So if you look at the statement of the question, This question is a direct that have been asked, that a gun is fired at the speed of this in the direction 30 degree. Here the projectile is fired at some angle with the horizontal. And if you remember the concepts, there we have done the height, maximum height attained is given by u square sine square theta over 2g. Now here the u is being given to us 280. So 280 square into sine square theta 0.5 whole square over g is equal to 9.8. And solving this we get 1000 meter. So the option B is the correct answer for this, and answer number 1 is the B option. Now look at this second question. The x and y coordinates of a particle at any time are, this is x equal to 5t minus 2t and y is equal to 10t respectively, where x and y are in meters and time is in second. The acceleration of the particle at time 2 second is, and these are the options given to us. This question has been asked in NEET 2017. Now, this is the question where the motion has been resolved in the two of the direction x and y. So, to find it out, first we will consider along x-axis. Along x-axis, velocity, say Vx, is given by, this is x component. So on differentiating this with respect to time, we will get the velocity, and this is 5 minus 4t. Again, when we differentiate velocity with time, we will get the acceleration. So ax is the acceleration along the x-axis. This is equal to differentiation of the velocity, and that comes out to be equal to minus 4. Now consider its y-axis. Along y-axis, for y-axis we have got y is equal to 10t, velocity along y-axis is given by differentiation of y with respect to t, let it be vy. So this is equal to 10. Again, when we will differentiate the velocity, we will get the acceleration along the y-axis, and that comes out to be 0. So now acceleration a is equal to ax, its component along x direction and the component along the y direction. So this comes out along x-axis, that was minus 4 meter per second square, and along y-axis it is 0. So net acceleration is minus 4 meter per second square, and the option is the C. So the answer for the second is the C option. In the third question, it have been asked the velocity of a projectile at initial point A is 2 I cap plus 3 j cap meter per second. Its velocity is in meter per second at point B is. So these are the options given to us, and this is the diagram that have been there. This question has been asked in the NEET 2013. So if we look at the diagram, this is a question about the projectile. And second thing is that its component along x-axis and y-axis are being given. So here we will use one concept, that in the projectile motion, the velocity component along x-axis, there will not be any change, it remains constant. But in the projectile motion, the velocity component changes only along y-axis. So first we'll write down the concept. In projectile motion, the velocity component along x-axis remains constant, and only velocity component along y-axis changes. Now what, so if we are talking about 2i, this is the x component of the velocity, and that is not going to change according to this concept. Now when we are talking about its y component, and if we look at the diagram, so it at point A, that was the initial point, and at point B it has just got the reversed in case of the y component. So if it is plus 3j, here it will the reverse direction minus 3j. So for no change in x component, it remains 2y, and for the y component, it has got reversed, so minus sign is there. So this is the new velocity at point B, and according to this, it goes with the option C. So answer for the third is option C. Now we are taking the topic of uniform circular motion. In that, the first question is, a particle is moving with uniform speed in a circular path maintains. These are the four options given to us. This question has come in the NEET 2024, and this is a question that have been given on the page 40 of NCERT new. So if you look at this question, this is just based on the concept of the motion of a body in along a circular path. So when a body moves along a circular path, what about its speed, velocity, and acceleration? For uniform motion, speed along circular path remains constant. Now, velocity, it is having two components. One is the magnitude and second is the direction. So magnitude for a uniform circular motion, that is going to remain the same as that of speed. And what about the direction? So direction is getting changed at every instant of time. So velocity, because of change in direction continuously, change in direction is there continuously, though its magnitude is constant and direction kept on changing. So velocity component is a changing one. It is a varying at every point. What about acceleration? Acceleration is change in velocity. Since the velocity's direction is changing every time, so acceleration is also changing at every instant. So we get that acceleration and the velocity, these two components are varying and speed remains constant for any body that is following a circular path. So if we look at the options, the option number D, varying velocity and varying acceleration, is the correct answer for this, and the answer for the first question is option D. Now this is the question number 2. The angular acceleration of a body moving along the circumference of a circle is along the radius towards the center, along the tangent to its position, along axis of rotation, along the radius away from the center. This question has come in NEET 2023. This question is based on the concept. For any circular motion, there are two components of acceleration. One of them is the angular acceleration and another is the centripetal acceleration. For circular path, two components of acceleration. One is the angular acceleration and another is the centripetal acceleration. The angular acceleration is along the circumference of the circular path is perpendicular to the plane in which rotation takes place. On the other hand, centripetal acceleration, it is directed towards center and makes a body to move in circle. So by understanding the concept of these two acceleration, we will be able to answer this question. So this is about the angular acceleration. This is along the circumference of a circular path perpendicular to the plane in which rotation takes place. So in which rotation takes place means along the axis of rotation. So the answer for this is for angular acceleration is the C part, along the axis of rotation. So answer for the second is option C. This is the third question. A particle moving in a circle of radius r with uniform speed takes a time t to complete one revolution. If this particle were projected with the same speed at an angle theta to the horizontal, the maximum height attained by is equal to 4r. The angle of projection of theta, and these are the options given for it. This question has come in the NEET 2021 and this is on the page number 42 NCERT new. So let us go by the statement. What does it says? There is a particle of moving in a circle of radius r with uniform speed that takes time t to complete one revolution. If this particle were projected with the same speed, so what is the speed? Speed is equal to 2 pi r over t. Since this is a circle, so total length covered is 2 pi r and time taken to complete that is t. So with this speed, this is being projected at the horizontal and the maximum height attained. The formula for the maximum height attained is u square sine square theta upon 2g, and this value is equal to 4r. So this speed is same as that is being projected horizontally. So this thing is equal to u. So we can replace this for the u and we will get 2 pi r t square sine square theta over 2g. This thing is equal to 4r. So sine square theta is equal to 4r into 2g divided by 4 pi square r square and t square. So here 4 cancels with 4 and this. So sine square theta comes out to be equal to 2g t square by pi square r. Now sine theta can be written as, taking square root both sides, pi square r to the power 1 by 2, and theta comes out to be equal to sine inverse of 2g t square pi square r to the power 1 by 2. So if you look at the options, so the option theta is equal to sine inverse pi square r over gt square, or it is 2gt square pi square r. So option number D goes with the solution. So answer for the third is option D, that is theta is equal to sine inverse of gt square by pi square r to the power 1 by 2. In this question number 4, it have been given two particles A and B are moving in uniform circular motion in concentric circles of radii RA and RB with speed VA and VB respectively. Their time period of rotation is same. The ratio of angular speed of A to that of B will be, and these are the options given. This has come in NEET 2019. To solve this question, we will be taking help of the speed and the relation. So speed VA is given by, the speed is given by displacement upon time. Here it is moving in a circle, so the distance moved is 2 pi RA, and let T is the time period that have been taken to move along the circle by the particle that is having velocity VA. Now VB is given by 2 pi RB over TB. Now if you divide these two equations, 1 divided by 2, so equation comes out VA upon VB is equal to 2 pi RA TA into TB upon 2 pi RB. So 2 pi cancels with 2 pi. We can write down VA RB upon RA VB is equal to TB upon time period for A. Now what this VA upon RA is? VA upon RA is omega A, that is the angular velocity, that is omega A, and what is VB upon RB? This is omega B. This is equal to TB by TA. Since these two time periods, they have been given, the time period of rotation is same. Since TA is equal to TB, this is given. So the ratio of omega A to omega B is equal to 1:1. So answer for this is part A. There is an alternate method also to do this question. We know the angular velocity is equal to 2 pi by TA. So we can directly write down this relation, and when we'll divide them, the angular velocity for A and angular velocity for B, this is equal to 2 pi TA into TB upon 2 pi. Since TB is equal to TA, the both time periods are same, therefore omega A is equal to omega B is equal to 1:1. So answer for this is A. So answer for fourth is option A, ratio will be 1:1.